Then put your little hand in mine. There ain't no hill or mountain we can't climb, babe. I've got you, babe. I've got you, babe. Okay, campers, rise and shine over your booties, cause it's cold out there today.
It's cold out there every day. What is this, Miami Beach?
Not hardly. And you can expect hazardous travel later today. What with that blizzard thing?
That blizzard thing. Oh, well, I've got a national weather report here that says it's going to be a big blizzard thing.
Yes, it does, and you know what makes today especially interesting?
Especially cold.
I hate you. Is the question on everybody's lips?
They're chapped lips.
I really hate you. Is the question on everybody's
Phil.
Is will Phil come out and see his shadow?
Punxsutawney Phil.
That's right. Woodchuck Chuckers, you're listening to
Groundcast Day, a Groundhog Day podcast.
Episode 44.
44.
With a bullet.
For the 44 eyes of Dogar and Kazon.
That's right, Woodchuck Chuckers. We have watched and talked about this on recording at least 44 times.
It's still October 5th, 2019. Trump's still in office. And
Trump still in office.
We're still Bobby and Randy.
Oh, God. It's like... Next week, we should just introduce ourselves with completely different names.
We're still Trump and...
Trump and Pence? What? No, that's weird. That's weird.
Yeah.
It's a little too weird.
Yeah.
You'll be Trump, I'll be Pelosi. I'll be the one that comes out on top eventually.
Okay.
Yeah, we're back. We had to skip it.
Another double episode because last week we fucked up again.
Yeah. So this week's recording I did earlier today. Well,
not recording your watch.
Well, yeah, my earlier watch I did earlier today. And it was just the same. There was no great revelations to it, but little things popped out at me, like the thing where you're like, I thought it was shake your hog out there. No, it's check your hog out there.
Jeez.
It's like little things like that popped for me today. And there's something that... Now I'll get to it in a bit. Well, before we segue into something else, because there's something I have to talk about, Bob. I'm jumping forward on this.
All right, do it.
I'm not going to the tape. I am going to read to you the thing that you had brought to me. You have brought to me a possible continuity error.
Yep.
During the scene where Gus turns and says to Phil, like the Groundhog Phil?
That's right.
That you say that Ralph does not appear in that scene. I reject your thoughts because he's in the shot.
No,
it's very hard to see.
So listen up. I got to explain this to the audience. What we see from like a few seconds earlier, this is the scene where Phil is trying to talk to Rita and saying, I'm in a time loop the first time. And this is the time where she tells him, like, I think I think it's day 3. I think you need to get your head exam
but before it's the same day.
You need help. Yeah, it's
you need help, Phil.
Yeah, it's right before he goes to the psychologist's office. So you can clearly see Ralph get up and start talking to like a waitress or something, and he's not at the table, or he looks like he's getting up to go to the bathroom. And then when Gus turns around and says, "Phil, like the Groundhog Phil," and then it cuts to Phil and he's like, "Yeah, like the Groundhog Phil." Hey, watch out for your shadow there, pal. And then suddenly Gus is back at the table. And they're both laughing, and then he's like, morons, your bus is leaving.
Now I'm going to blow your mind, Bobby.
It's ugly.
And we're back. So we went to the tape.
After verifying the tape, Randy had shown me that it was a different white man who was getting up and walking away.
So the mistake that our good Robert here, soon-to-be birthday boy, made...
Hashtag all white men look alike.
...was that... He thought that Ralph stood up before this conversation, but as anybody who's watched along with us knows, that in the diner there's always a point where one of the waiters drops a bunch of dishes. So you get Gus's reaction: "Put them anywhere, pal!" Ha ha ha! Ralph is turning to Rubberneck at the carnage, and then in that shot you see another white guy walk past. To go speak with somebody.
Yeah, no, you see another white guy dressed very similarly to Ralph get up from his chair. He's got the same similar kind of jacket.
So that's why it's like, I was looking at him like, No, that didn't happen. I know this.
All right,
Seemed like the back
again,
of my hand.
my fault. As we know, I'm very bad at telling white women apart, so I guess I couldn't tell white men apart in that scene.
So, do you want to continue on with any more information, or do you want to jump to the big thing that you did this week?
It's your choice. You're the.
Let's go to the big choice
okay,
here,
there
Robert.
you go.
So this week, well, as everybody knows, due to this podcast, due to this podcast, I'll be right back.
After the.
So as everybody knows, due to our podcast, there's a sequel to this movie in video game form.
Yeah,
Groundhog,
VR video game form.
Groundhog Day VR, like father, like son.
Yep.
Neither of us
Which
own...
just came out like recently.
Yep, September 18th.
Yep.
Or 17th, around that time.
So a couple of weeks.
Neither
ago.
of us own this product,
That's
nor
right.
do we own a PSVR or any other VR capable thing to play on.
I would not spend my money on that.
But due to the wonder that is YouTube,
Which you're watching this now on.
oh boy, is it bad that we do podcasts on YouTube, a visual medium.
Mm-hmm.
You can watch a playthrough, a let's play of Groundhog Day, the game.
Yep.
So that's what Robert did. He
I
watched the entirety of it?
somebody on YouTube uploaded the entire the entire walkthrough of the game. So I watched all 5 parts of it, and I just finished today.
Yeah, I watched one part of it, and it was torture, because as I have discovered, when watching somebody else play VR,
Mm-hmm.
I can watch maybe 10 minutes of it before I start getting the cold sweats, the sweaty mouth, and the need to puke,
Oh.
because I get hella motion sick watching it.
Oh, well, that wasn't a factor for me. It was just the boredom of watching him do the same thing every day.
Yeah, it's almost like
Yeah.
something that should work in a video game doesn't work in a video game when it's not Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So the thing I was thinking about is that there's literally a scene in part 1 where they're trying to tutorialize the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Which, did you notice that they wouldn't let him do certain actions earlier on in the earlier days? Like get the ice at all?
Huh.
That, on I think on the fourth day,
I don't know if that
he
was
wakes
incompetence or not.
up.
No.
It might have been incompetence. He wakes up, and the game prompts him and goes, hey, if you ever... No, after he fails a scene before going to the next scene, it goes, hey, if you ever want to just restart at the beginning of the scene, just do this, and we'll consider it to be that you've done the whole day. So he's doing the literal video game version of Phil.
Saves coming.
The date.
Yep.
So that's how I'm going to picture it from now on.
No, yeah, because now this game kind of gave me a deeper understanding of this movie, because as I was watching it, I was thinking if I was playing this game, I would probably do one thing at a time. I would try to work up, because of my bad memory, I would try to work up my relationship with one person at a time. So after I was done with them, I would just saves come the rest of the day. I would just be like, all right, boom, shoot myself in the head.
You'd be trying to S-rank all your social links every day until you had it all down into a pattern.
No, I would work on one person until I figured them out, and then I would work on the next person. So I'd start with Rita.
So instead of 10,000 years, it might take you 10 million years?
I would start with Rita, and then Jake and Sophie and.
Oh, Bobby. We all know that if you were living through the movie of this,
Yeah.
you'd be trying to get closer to Larry, because we don't get enough information about Larry. And
No,
his
I'm talking
inner
about
world.
the sequel.
This is
the
explain
sequel
to people
with
the sequel. Explain to them what the sequel is.
The sequel is this takes place, as I've now learned, 35 years after the movie, so 2028.
So this movie, it actually screwed us over, because all the initial ad copy for this seemed to indicate that to celebrate 30 what was it, 30 years? No. 20-something? Yeah, 30 years.
I don't know.
Roughly. I don't know. I'm losing my count, but they're saying...
It's the 2019, and it's not been 30 fucking years since
I'm
1993.
tired. We've been talking about this thing for 18 hours now.
Yeah.
I can't do math, but whatever time they were making it seem like it was real time from 93 to when the game was released.
And as we discussed
25 years.
in a previous episode, it's clearly not, because
Sorry, 26 years.
There's no way Jake, Phil's older brother, Jake had a kid and she's a teenager now, and in 2019 it doesn't make any sense unless he was adopted. So now, now having watched the whole thing, the whole walkthrough, Rita clearly mentions that it's been 35 years since me and your father came to Punxsutawney. So that means that means that the year in the game is 2028, which makes more sense.
And why did they make her into a Midwesterner? It was so weird when I'm listening. Like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah,
Between
the voice actors,
bouts of motion sickness.
the voice actors are all different. They couldn't get Bill Murray or Andy McDowell to voice the characters.
And my favorite part is
they couldn't even get the guy who played Garfield because he's dead.
Yep. And they couldn't apparently afford Frank Welker, who plays Garfield now, to voice Phil.
They just got some random guy.
I hate to admit it, Bobby, but it's actually me who voices Bill Murray in that game.
Oh yeah, you got a good paying gig there.
No. They're a little independent company. I got nothing for it.
Yeah, it wasn't a very. It's not a very big game.
What are the big revelations, Bobby? What do they illuminate for the world of the movie?
Well, why don't you look at my notes over there, because I've got them all written down.
So I'm going to go to your most recent stuff and work backwards. Asleep? No. So in the VR game, Phil tells Rita that it was her kiss that woke him up. Is that the most recent one?
It's around there.
I'm just going back because I'm talking about the stupid, weird aside here. Wendy's released the tabletop RPG instructions on the internet?
Yeah. Looking forward to our future game where we play through that.
No, we've already missed out on the window of Feast of Legends. It had to have been up this weekend.
Oh, well.
In order for us to capitalize on it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, that's roughly where it is. I was talking about that, and then I mentioned to you that Ned really wants Rita to know that his wiener sure is tasty.
Yeah, that's a line from the game.
Yeah.
Ned is still alive. And again, I've talked to Randy about this. We've talked previously about the Groundhog Day musical. And in the musical, Ned is portrayed as a widower whose wife died and he has several kids, and that's why he sells insurance.
I told you, that's Universe Theater.
Okay. So in this game, he only has one daughter, and it's mentioned that his wife actually left him. And then at some point in time, they make you play a stupid minigame where you have to dance with Ned and do the Ryerson Shuffle to get him to tell you why he won't finance his daughter's fucking bookstore.
What if he met somebody after the events of Groundhog Day?
Then why don't they mention the fact that he's got other kids?
Well, maybe he didn't have kids in his first marriage before his widowing.
Yeah, but in the theater version, they do mention that he's got several kids to support, and that's why he does that.
Oh right, it's been so long since I've watched it. One moment, this is.
Hold on a second. Stop everything. All actors leave the stage. This is a good point. All actors leave the stage.
I gotta watch that again. That entertains me way too much. In the cringiest sense of the word.
Yes, it does.
But yeah, this is a weird thing.
So yeah, if you want to read my notes there, there was a lot of things revealed in this game if we consider it canon.
But yeah, you're talking about how in the VR game Phil tells Rita that it was her kiss that woke him up.
Yeah, in the game, because there's a point in time where you can do the same thing Phil does, and you can tell Rita, since you play Phil's son, you're Phil Jr., and you can be like, Mom, I'm going through the same thing Dad went through. I'm leaving the same day over and over. And she's all like, what? I thought those were just stories from your father.
But he was just doing it like fables to teach you things.
And again, like, she really thinks her husband, the guy she married, is just telling her fucking stupid stories about living the same day over and over? You're
forgetting, Bobby, that version of Rita isn't the Rita that scientifically watched him after he explained it to her that, no, I've been living this day over and over again. I know all these. If only she had that time again.
If only he'd brought her along on his last day, like I said before. But yeah, he says she says, oh, and we learned a fact because she brings you to the back alley where Old Man Collins died, the homeless guy. I
could have sworn that we had gotten to the point that his name was Collins, but it might have been only in the credits.
Was it? We gotta watch the tape.
Okay, be right back, folks. We have to pause and go jump to the credits. And we're back again.
And we're back from verifying the tape.
And Bobby just saw a real-time revelation from me that I never realized that the end credits, the movie literally ends with the clouds from the beginning of the movie.
The clouds that were added in after the movie was
I never noticed that!
Before this scene that was shot with in the studio.
I am amazed. I am astounded. It is a perfect loop.
So the old man was just credited as Old Man. He was not given a name. So in the game, he's given a name, Old Man Collins. And in it, in the alleyway scene, Rita tells Phil Jr. that oh yeah, this is the point in time when your father realized that he wasn't in fact in control of everything, and there was something he could not control, and that was the fact that old man would die. And I don't know what Randy's doing with us on his phone right now.
I'm checking the credits on IMDb because I could have sworn that we knew that his name was Collins.
I don't know how Randy again has somehow his brain has jumped into thinking that we have information we didn't have.
Yes, and here's his.
But she goes on to say that
maybe the name is mentioned in the musical.
I couldn't tell you, but she goes on to say, if you want to read my notes, that this is the point.
This is the beginning.
This is the beginning.
This is where it all gets started.
Yeah. No,
this is where we learn to love.
Yeah. This is the point where Phil, I said, realized that he couldn't control everything, and this is where he realized. Oh yeah, this is where he realized that death is not the end. It's just a change, or something like that. I wrote it down.
Yeah, I'm trying to find where he did it because it's just like, don't take anything for granted. Just the hopelessness. Just embrace it. Gus and Ralph are nowhere to be found.
No, it's before that. Look up.
In my review of the game, nope, that's not in there. You talk about him and Sophie. Rita says Phil had to live every day as if it was one that mattered, and he was full of joy and gratitude.
It's a little before that, I think.
He said he was ready before he died of unexplained illness.
Mm-hmm.
He thought death was like being released.
There you go. It's like being released.
Oh, there he goes. The homeless man was named Old Man Collins. Rita says he died in Phil's arms on Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
So he died before she got to the concert?
Yeah.
He died at 8:02 p.m. So yeah, we know it's a later in the evening.
So again, in the movie we talked about the fact that, like, on the last day, does Phil still interact with the old man? Because we don't see it.
I think he does, because he does a lot of things.
So in the game, it's considered as, if you consider the game canon, it is established that he, on the last day when Rita meets Phil at the concert, before that he did still interact with the old man, and Old Man Collins did die in his arms at 8:02 p.m. And Phil considers death not to be the end, but just being released. So in the game, he's already dead, spoiler alert, of some unexplained illness, and his son is back in Punxsutawney for the day before Groundhog Day, February 1st, to celebrate his deceased father, and so that's what it is. It flashes back a few times to memories of interacting with Phil and the things he said, and he's kind of like a whiny little nerdy dude who hates his dad.
Yeah, he hates his father because his father was so perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody loves Phil Sr., brah.
Everybody loves Phil Sr. except for Phil Jr. And
I guess he only sees the half glass.
Empty.
Phil.
Half glass empty.
Yeah.
Half glass.
Phil.
Elliot T. I don't know. We need a name that.
Was Larry in it? Did Larry
I saw no mention of Larry whatsoever, so I can only assume he went back to Pittsburgh or maybe San Francisco. And also, I saw no Buster, so I guess he's dead.
No Nancy.
Well, this is 35 years later, so I guess he's dead. No Nancy, no Russ, nor Ralph. Nor Gus, nor Ralph.
As I told you, I didn't see them coming out of the closet and admitting to one another that they're a couple and adopting a child.
Why must all male friends be gay to you?
I don't know. You're the one that randomly goes, go on the gay date to get corn. I don't know, Bobby. I don't know.
I'm just saying Gus and Ralph didn't appear in it at all. Maybe they just didn't want to hire more actors.
Probably not, because they barely even made character models. They just fattened the same character model up, or they made the old Rita into a younger Rita, because that Sophie looks exactly like her. Yeah. But yet also Ned's daughter also looks exactly like Rita, but with a slightly thinner face.
We have to talk about the fact of time incontinuities in this game, because as we've established earlier, before it was unclear as to exactly what age Jake, Phil Jr.'s brother, and his daughter Sophie were, and now we've also established that. So around that time, we assumed she was about 15, 16. Now I've learned that Ned has a daughter named Sarah, and Sarah has a daughter named Jake. A son named John. Sorry, and they clearly say he's 10. They say that in the game. He is 10, but at some point in time, you have to get John to go out on a date with your niece Sophie, and because they both like the same punk band. But Sophie looks like she's about 15, 16, and he looks like he's about fucking 10, and they say that they're in the same science class. So how the fuck
is she only 10?
But if she's only 10, but her character model looks like she's like 15 or 16, and why are they talking about the fact that she's about to drive a car? If she's 10?
Tells her that you don't have a license. You can't drive there yourself.
But what 10-year-old is told you don't have a license? It makes no sense, Randy.
So I don't.
Did she fail like 5 or 6 times in science class?
I was gonna say, maybe. Well,
whoever made this game didn't fucking think of it.
I was gonna say it's like you never know. He could have skipped some grades.
But he's established as that he's like really dumb and he doesn't care about school and he doesn't like he doesn't. She even say at one point he only knows 5 planets. Like he's really dumb. He's like an idiot. So
I'll have to try to. What I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna rip these episodes of the playthrough to audio only, and I'll just listen to them with audio, not actually watch it.
Yeah.
Because the audio is the only thing that matters.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. The other criticism about this game I have, if you're still
without
listening,
playing it, yeah,
is that I wouldn't want to play this because it looks like it's kind of fun to go through all the dialogue options and try to like figure out what's going on in this game. They make you play some really stupid mini games that I would not want to play. Like, you think, like, okay, at one point in time you have to fix up an espresso machine to give your brother Jake some espresso. Well, guess how you fix the espresso machine? Would you assume that it has to do with, like, putting all the parts in right? Nope. You've got to go inside the machine and, in what looks like underwater or outer space, shoot espresso beans with a laser. And I'm like, this is gay as hell. I'm not doing this.
This game is just...
And then at another point in time, you have to, I guess with the gloves or whatever the hell you're holding in your hands for this VR game, dance with Ned and do the Ryerson shuffle. And you have to perfectly match his movements, which looks really stupid.
From what you've told me of like the additional lore to this, and it's like how they try to clarify, that type of stuff, like, might just be because we've watched this movie 44 times at this point, but that stuff interests me. That stuff is like, oh wow,
yeah, exactly.
That's an interesting take on it. And whoa, okay. And what was with the aliens?
I don't know. It's never brought up again.
Never brought up. It's only in that one shot.
Maybe it was a fever dream.
Maybe.
There was no aliens in this game. It's not canon.
Oh, or maybe he had too much to drink.
Maybe, yeah.
I have no idea. So I guess with that, we should tap out. We're at like 23 minutes here.
Yeah.
Do you have any final words you want to say
about this game? Yeah. We want to give me the big spoiler. The big spoiler is Phil Jr. got his girlfriend pregnant, and he's running away from her. And at the end of the game, we establish that the whole reason why he's trapped in his time loop is because he has to learn to not be a deadbeat dad and abandon his girlfriend and kid. So the whole point of the game is to get him to be a better person, so he'll actually stay with his girlfriend and help her raise her kid.
So he'll man up.
Who's not ever seen in the game, is only ever talked to on the phone.
Is that his producer?
Yes, the girl with the
that's what I thought.
The dykey haircut is his girlfriend, and at the end of the game, it's established. She's like, "Oh, I'm pregnant with your kid," but he doesn't tell us, the audience, that until you've successfully gone on a date or something, some kind of a friend date, I guess, with Ned's daughter, Sarah.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, Sarah is not the love interest. He's already got a love interest who's not seen on screen, so it's not a very coherent plot.
You know what? He doesn't necessarily have to. He can man up without getting together with her. You know that, right? He can still be a father to the child without necessarily getting with the girl.
But he does, though. He does.
Oh, he does? Okay.
He does stay with her.
Okay.
He does. In fact, meet her somewhere else, and then they move in together or some shit.
So with that,
that's Groundhog Day 2 ? Like father, like son.
The only thing that makes me think that this is... I'm still going on here. That it's actually would be officially in canon. Yeah, Harold Ramis isn't alive, so his name's on it. Danny Rubin's name isn't on it.
Oh.
But the studio behind it is on it. Like, you know what I mean? Behind the movie.
Well.
Who owns the rights. Had to go through, like, yeah, no, that's a good decision. Yeah, you can do that. This doesn't mess with any of our canon.
But as you've already established, executives are not very good at storyline.
No, not necessarily. So, everybody, I was Randy.
This was Bobby for you.
And
I watched like 5 hours of a video game walkthrough for you this week.
I watched 50 minutes of it over the course of like 5 days because I was tired of getting. Actually, no, that's a lie. Over the course of 3 days, I watched the last hump of it today.
Yep.
So goodbye, everybody.